OpenClaw is absolutely revolutionary, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how I set it up, all the tasks that I'm delegating to it, and all the infrastructure, the language models, everything I'm doing to set this up as smoothly as possible. It was released about 3 months ago, and it's basically as the title suggests. It's an AI that actually lets you do things. This is something that I've been looking forward to since I got my hands dirty with AI, because AI is great, but how can I use it on a day-to-day basis? And OpenClaw has solved that problem for me, because now it can check your inbox, it can send emails, it can connect to your messaging apps, it can connect to your CRMs, it can basically do anything that you give it access to. You install it with this one line of code inside of your terminal, and it works with basically everything. And as with any AI agent, you can download skills off their own marketplace, which is called Clawhub. And this is what the marketplace looks like. They have a ton of skills, and I like to spend a couple of minutes on here every single day just to see what's been downloaded the most. And a lot of these have been created by the owner / creator of OpenClaw, so you know it's completely reliable. And these are skills that you can train your AI agent to basically install, and it will go ahead and do it all contained inside of Telegram, which is how I connect to my agent. So that's basically OpenClaw. Now let me show you how you can use it. Me, Ava, she's my personal assistant, and she's running on Hetzner, which is a cloud-based storage solution where I'm running OpenClaw. And I've called her Ava on Hetzner because I'm planning to install one on Hostinger and other VPS solutions, so I have a completely decentralized solution. And my goal is to have one super agent, Mecha Ava, that basically connects to all these decentralized servers that I talk to. Now you could do pretty much anything you can think with an agent like Ava, but I'm going to show you exactly how I use it on a day-to-day basis, how she saves me hours every single day, and how I get the best of it using my virtual private server on Hetzner. The first thing I wanted to do was get Ava to be useful. I wanted her to do tasks for me. Not only do tasks, create tasks on a project management system like Asana. So basically I created a Kanban called Get Shit Done, and all this is basically to do, doing, done. It's a very basic, simple system where you can keep track of tasks. You can assign tasks to team members, or in my case, agents called Ava, and she basically manages the entire system for me. So yesterday I asked her to basically optimize OpenClaw model routing to reduce costs. Now I'm already on a very cost-effective setup, and I'll show you exactly what I did for that. But I saw an article on Twitter X about somebody who reduced it by about 95%. So I wanted Ava to read that article, because the article on X is huge, and come back to me with a breakdown of what the article says and how it can help me with my OpenClaw setup. And basically this is what she understood from that article. Now it is a low priority because, like I said, I'm already running a very optimized system. But this article says that you can reduce API costs by up to 90%. Key points: send everything to expensive models like Opus, which is wasteful or simple tasks, and that's by default. And what you can do is you can route models based on heartbeats, fun jobs, simple lookups, and use like a cheap model like Google Gemini Flash or something like ChatGPT, which isn't that expensive. Now I'm already using Minimax M2.5, which is already very decent and is pretty cheap. So Ava's decided that it's not really that urgent for me. So she's saying run the first month, just check actual usage and costs, which you can do. She's saying enable prompt caching, set cache retention in config, set up routing rules for simple tasks using cheaper models, and consider Claw Router for automatic classification. And she's even got the reference guide. And she's done that all herself. All I asked her to do was look into this article, find out what's going on, and give me your recommendations. And this is going beyond the second brain, because the second brain is great. I can dump all my ideas, my thoughts onto Notion, onto Obsidian, or wherever I decide. But this is an extension of your second brain, because she's now actually thinking for me. She's not a storage layer. She's a thinking layer, and she can make recommendations because she knows what architecture she's installed on. And this saves me hours. I've also set up a cron job, which is just fancy speak for scheduled tasks. And this scheduled task, every hour on the hour, she will basically review the entire Asana board and look at the jobs, tasks that need doing. So this one is actually due today, and she's highlighted that. She's basically waiting for me to send her some information back, because Twitter has made a change on the API. It's no longer free. You have to pay something like $200 a month, which is something I'm not willing to do. I want to find another solution, maybe like a scraping solution using API, and I'm working with Ava to implement that. She basically needs the API keys from API if that's the route that we go down. The model routing, the token dashboard. So what I want Ava to do is I want her to create a token dashboard. So I want to basically have a web-enabled page. It will then extract all the information about tasks that she's working on, what language model she's using, and how many tokens is burning, and what the cost of that burn is. And the point of this is that I want to keep an eye on how much I'm spending, but more importantly, it looks really impressive on YouTube videos, and it's going to be a really glossy dashboard. I'm still working on that, building that. I should have that built today. Once I do, I'll record a video on that as well, and exactly how you can do that. X monitoring, backup script, and travel insurance for an upcoming trip. And at 11, she knows that one of the tasks, the X-Twitter task, is actually due today to get a move on. But let me show you the Asana task / get shit done board in action. Hey Ava, I want to build a solution where you monitor my YouTube channel. You look at the videos, you look at likes, you look at views, you transcribe the video, you analyze it, you look at what's working, what's not working, analyze the hooks, and basically give me feedback on every single video. Focus your attention on videos that get the most views, engagement, etc. Create a task for this on Asana, assign it a medium priority. Let's get to work. So I've just sent that off to Ava. Let's see what she's going to come back with. So here you go. She's created a new task, medium priority. It's in doing, the monitor videos, get the video engagement, transcribe videos, analyze hooks. Here's the link. And to get started, what she needs from me is obviously going to be the channel URL and the YouTube API keys if we do that way, or we can use web API. Probably going to use the YouTube API because rate limits limits on there are pretty good. Because I'm only using it for my channel, I shouldn't really hit any rate limits. And if I go into Asana, it's this one here. So build a YouTube analysis system, monitor, transcribe, analyze feedback. She's done this all herself. You can see it was created just now, and it's basically everything that she needs to get started. So the requirements, the process, and what she needs from me. It's completely delegated. This is brilliant. This is so good. This has saved me hours. And this is like a full-time job. Like if you had a virtual assistant, somebody doing admin, this is what traditionally you would assign them to do, right? And I don't even have to set the order because some of these are high, medium. She knows which order to stack them in. So if I had another high one and I said set the priority finish today, she'll then move this right up the top. She knows exactly what to do. And this is all controlled through the Asana API. It's completely free. So that's one great use case that I'm using for my business right now. Let me show you how you can set this up. I'm gonna show you exactly what I did, how to make it efficient. And this is the most cost-effective setup that I found. So I've been testing this for about almost a month now. And honestly, the best place to do this is Hetzner. So head over to hetzner.com, and the virtual private server you want to install is this one here, CX33, because it gives you 4 virtual CPUs. It gives you 8 gigabytes of RAM. It gives you 80 gigs of local disk storage. You can always upgrade this. You can always add more volumes, but the baseline is always going to be 80. I've only used 46 cents on here. It's got a bandwidth of 20 terabytes. So you're never going to have problems with traffic, and it's never going to cost me more than $6.50 per month. So you don't need to go out there and buy a Mac Mini for $750, or I've seen some for $10,000, because that's just ridiculous, right? Test it on a virtual private server, get familiar with it. And if you need a guide on how to do this on a virtual private server, I've actually got a video. I'll link to that at the end of this one. So wait until the end of this video and I'll show you exactly how to set that up. And you can install this directly inside of the VPS, which I don't like doing because I don't like the terminal inside of Hetzner. It's really buggy and kind of glitches out. So I did it through my Mac terminal, which is exactly the same process. It's just faster on my Mac terminal. And your setup is only as good as the language model. So I've been doing this for about a month, and I've been testing different platforms, different models, different strategies. So initially I started off with an agent swarm, but then I quickly ran into problems with that. Then I found issues with languages because something like Opus 4.6 or 4.5 actually burns tokens. Like a daily usage is going to be anywhere from $80 to $100. So it's not very cost effective for most users. I'm going to show you exactly what I used, which language model and which platform I've integrated all of this in to make it as seamless, as frictionless as possible. And the best way to do this is head over to openrouter.ai. So OpenRouter is basically an aggregator of language models, and they've got all the best models you can think of. Everything that's out there in the world, you can aggregate it and you can access it from one platform. So all you have to do is literally top up credits inside of OpenRouter, and you can switch language models quite easily. Now, the one that I'm using is Minimax M2.5, which is this one here. The first reason I'm using this is because this is actually built for agentic workflows. And this is very important because I've actually got free credits on Google Gemini. I've got something like 380 credits. So logic will tell you that I should use Google Gemini 2.0 or something like 2.0 Flash. But the problem with that is, even though I'm a big Gemini fan, the problem is that it's not an agentic language model, which means that it's not optimized for agentic workflows like OpenClaw. And that has serious limitations when you're building out agents, because you need reasoning, you need planning. The agent needs to think before it responds to you. It needs to think before it starts building out objectives, specifications, requirements, that kind of stuff. And I found that Google Gemini just doesn't have that. And the cheapest by far to do this is Minimax. It's only 30 cents for 1 million output tokens. It has almost a 200,000 context window, which is basically memory. So context window is memory, and your agent needs memory because it needs to remember past conversations. And this is very important. If it doesn't have memory, it's going to fall over pretty quickly. Now, this is not huge by any stretch of the imagination, but it's enough for what I needed to do. And honestly, this $5.37 is about 2 days worth of usage. So this setup is costing me about $2 to $2.50 per day. And I'm texting it, talking to it all day. It's running cron jobs. It's doing stuff in the background. It's managing my entire infrastructure for $2.50 a day. Now, you can optimize it in other ways. You can change the heartbeat. You can change the cron models. You can, if you've got some low-level tasks that don't need big context windows or they don't need large reasoning, then you can downgrade to lower ones. And there's a ton you can choose from inside of OpenRouter. Another one that I'm looking into is Kimi K2 Thinking by Moonshot. Again, you can access this inside of OpenRouter. It's slightly more expensive. It's at 40 cents for 1 million tokens, but it has a larger context window. And from what I've read and all the tests that I've seen online, it's pretty much the same as Minimax. I just went for Minimax because it's cheaper. But if you wanted to test Kimi, definitely worth testing inside of OpenRouter. And you can see inside of Minimax, the second largest user of Minimax is OpenClaw. So it's basically all of us using agents inside of OpenClaw. And they've basically used 138 billion tokens. For Kimi K2, it's exactly the same. OpenClaw is the second biggest user of this language model. And it's for a simple reason. It's an agentic language model. It's built for agents. And this one's used 9.1 billion tokens. And the one that I like the look of, which is Claude Opus 4.6, I've actually used this. I actually tested this for about $80 per day. And this one is awesome. Shout out to Anthropic. You've smashed it out of the park. My only issue with this is it's super expensive. It's $5 for 1 million tokens. But look at the context window. It has 1 million context windows. So the memory is huge, but it's going to cost you a fortune. Because honestly, look at my usage. For $5.37, I've used 36.7 million tokens. So just do the math. Opus 4.6 is $5 for 1 million tokens. So for most of us, it's not going to be affordable. Another one that's getting great reviews is this Cron 3 Max Thinking. This is another agentic language model. It's got a 260,000 context window. It's a little bit cheaper than Opus 4.6 at 1.2 or $1.20 per million tokens. And its largest user is OpenClaw. So you know anything that has OpenClaw in the top 3, you know it's going to be agentic. It's already built for the agent that you're going to run inside of OpenClaw. Interestingly, more people use it in OpenClaw than Claude Code. And incidentally, Anthropic's biggest user is OpenClaw. It's not even their own platform, Claude Code. It's utilized 142 billion tokens, which is insane when you consider that it's $5 for 1 million million tokens. But that just shows you that this is a very optimized agentic language model and something that's worth testing. So if you're not sure where to start, just go to the models, go down the list, just sort by most popular, which is what I did, and you're gonna get basically a search result like this. Now, interestingly, Gemini Flash 3 is the third most popular language model on OpenRouter. So let's have a look at what that's using. It's super cheap. It's only 50 cents for 1 million tokens. And if you sign up to Google Cloud, they'll give you like $380 in free tokens for new users. So effectively, it's free. Now, OpenClaw is the largest user, which is quite interesting because this is not an agentic first language model. It's used at 302 billion tokens on this platform. So my guess is that these users, these agents, are basically delegating it from their primary agent to like a sub agent. So an agent that doesn't need a large context window, doesn't need deep reasoning, because Flash is optimized for speed. So it's maybe like a research bot or something like that, sub agent. Again, it's worth looking into. If you want to use Gemini 3 Flash, don't do it from here. Sign up through the Google Cloud Console and they'll give you like $380, something like that in free credits. You can then get the API key and plug it into your OpenClaw setup. And it's always a good idea to have some fallback models. So for example, if you are using Minimax M2.5 and something happens to the Minimax servers or something happens inside of OpenRouter, you can fall back to another one like Kimi K2.5, Gemini Flash, or even this Z.ai. And if you're not sure, just have a look inside of this text here, this description. It'll tell you what kind of language model it is. The best way to look at it is look at the apps that are using it. If you know OpenClaw is in the top 3, then you know it's an agentic driven language model. Not always, because Gemini 3 Flash isn't. It's not really optimized for agentic workflows, but this one is. But this tells you here it's agentic tool use. So you could actually use this as your main bot. I could actually change Ava and get her to use DeepSeek version 3.2. And if you want scraping solutions, head over to apify.com so you can sign up for a $5 free account. And this is basically a marketplace for free scrapers. So this one here is for Google Maps. You can scrape Google Maps and you can get your agent to do this for you. You can build a script around this. All you need to do is just grab the API endpoints, click on the API drop down here. And if this is the actor that you want, if you want your agent to scrape Google Maps, you just go down to where it says run actor synchronously and get dataset items. So if you grab this API endpoint here, it'll add your tokens on the end, which is the API access point and or the access token, and your bot Ava in my case can build a script. You can trigger the actor autonomously inside of Apify, which is just a Python script, and it's all hosted inside of Apify. Once the script is finished, you can then pull in the dataset items directly into OpenClaw. Now do this on the free account first because your agents are going to be testing a lot of things at the same time, which means it's going to blow the account pretty quickly. So I'm on a free account here. I start off with 0, had $5, but she actually blew this up in like 3 minutes because she's constantly calling the API, which I don't have a problem with because obviously I'm training her, she's learning, so she needs to make mistakes. What you need to do is just make sure that you minimize those mistakes and it doesn't blow up your wallet. So there you have it. That's my entire Ava OpenClaw agentic setup. Obviously, it's going to get more complicated. I'm going to add sub agents. I'm going to spawn agents. So Ava can actually spawn temporary agents to help her do tasks, which kind of taps into OpenClaw's multi-threading, which means that she can get things done quicker, faster, and I can assign more tasks to her. And this is the future, guys. This is how we are going to scale up all our businesses, our hobbies, our interests, everything. Time is no longer an excuse because you can spin up an agent like Ava to do everything for you. And if she doesn't have the skills, she can go over to ClawHub and she can download them. You can just paste the link or the GitHub repository, just send it to her on Telegram and she'll do it for you. There's really no excuse to not get started today. So smash the like button if you enjoyed this video because I'm somebody that drops AI bombs when it comes to making money, saving time, building a side hustle or building an agency. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Watch the next tutorial on screen if you want to know how to set up an agent on a virtual private server like Hetzner, and I'll see you next time. But before you go, say it with me, something magical is going to happen today. Thank you and see you next time.